Let's see if we can. I think you guys are. Well, I guess it wants you to be this way. All right, well, I guess we can only go this direction. All right, that's good enough. Okay, so we're going to do a live today. I am going to wait until I have a few people to get started. I promised 3 o'clock. Trying to organize this so I can see how many people are on. We're going to work on the heater today. So the propane heater that we're going to create. Yeah, so we're gonna build our own propane heater because nobody makes a small vented heater to put in a greenhouse, especially not one that is especially not one this small. They'll do much larger ones, you know, big commercial greenhouses, things like that. So we're gonna go ahead and work on building that heater. So I said 3 o'clock. I don't think we're quite there yet, but I'm gonna just kind of get some things out and get ready. The heater's gonna go right here. So right here against this wall, which you can't see. So it's gonna go right down here. It's gonna consist of basically 3 sections of pipe and a galvanized steel plate. So the burner is going to be outside because I want to use outside air for the burner. So I'm going to feed it on the outside, and then it's going to exit and exhaust outside again. When I did some experiments, about 5 foot is about as long as I want that pipe. It just seemed to work better, so we're going to go with 5 foot for that. And that means we've got 18 inches, 10 inches, 18 inches. So maths, it's roughly in there. That's what I could get. There's going to be some fittings in between. What we're going to do is we're going to put this in temporarily. So temporarily it's going to be in there. Howdy, thanks for joining. So temporarily that's going to be in there, and then as we are sure that the heater is going to work, then I'm going to go back and I'm going to weld around all of the joints with probably use some brass, some brazing rod. We'll go ahead and do that. All right, hey, we got some viewers today. Thanks for joining. Hey, it is the propane burner is what we're going to work on today. So we're going to make our heater system, and we're going to get started on that. Hello, hello. Wow, we've got quite the crowd. So this is what happens when you do a live in the afternoon instead of the morning. So, hey, let's go ahead and get started. So we're going to go ahead and I'm going to turn you back over here to the work table. And we're going to get started putting this together. I'm going to bring you a little bit closer. Sorry, it's the first time I've tried to do a build, something where it's not like stable. All right. Yeah, there you go. Okay, so what we've got for our burner that we're going to be using 1-inch black pipe. So this is 1-inch black gas pipe. We've got some cast iron 1-inch fittings. We're going to make basically a U, and then we're going to offset that at an angle so that we get a good flow that comes through our burner. After we get this all situated, we get it in the angles that we like. Then we're going to go through and cut the plate that's going to go on the side of the greenhouse to make sure that we're not melting things. You know, we've got corrugated plastic, and if we're running a flame through that, I definitely don't want to melt that. So we're going to have kind of a guard there. So first thing we're going to do is get the burner set up. We're going to set it in a test burn so that it can start removing any of the oil or the paint on there. You know, whatever's going to be removed, we're going to get that going. And then we'll start working on the inside, getting that prepared for the rest of the burner setup. So let's get all these parts out. All right. The other thing is I've got our burner. So this is a benzomatic gas torch. With this, it's going to run Normally runs on propane. I do have an adapter hose. This would run off the 1 pound cylinders, but I've got an adapter hose to run it off of, one of the big like camping style containers. What are they? 4 gallon, 5 gallon, technically. I know they're rated in pounds. I just don't remember what it is right now, but we've got an adapter hose and we're going to run it to this so that I'm not buying, basically propane cylinders. Yeah, I know this is MAP gas. It's not propane, but we're going to run it to a bigger tank so that it can run for days on end without refilling. So that's what we're going to do. So we're going to get this started, get it all put together. Welcome everybody. See a lot of you joining in. So we're going to get this put together, get the burner lit, get that part going. And then while that's burning off that oil and extra paint, we're going to start working on making the connection to the greenhouse. So let's go ahead. Got our burner out. And those of you just joining, these joints will eventually be brazed together. So right now they're just going to be just kind of snugly put together, and we'll braze them at a later time after we know that this system is working really well, and then that'll give us the opportunity to good thing I got wrenches. There we go. It's going to be about right, except it is the wrong angle. Okay, we'll work on them, but afterwards we'll clean it up so we don't get any gas leaks. The last thing we want is a gas leak. Either a propane leak or a carbon monoxide. Either one's not going to be good for what we're doing, so we're going to work on that. Oh gosh. Come on. It doesn't want to come off. Oh well, we'll get the other one off and then we'll get that one off. I think it's kind of been painted on there. Let's see if I can. See if that works. There it goes. There's that one. This one. And I know it's kind of overkill on here as far as the diameter of the pipe, but I think it's going to work better. This one is just on there. I got an idea. Can't stay on if it's liquid. We'll heat it up a little bit, see if we can get her a little softer so it comes off. Come on. It doesn't want to stay lit. All right, so we're just going to warm this up, soften that plastic because there's tape around it and paint, and it just doesn't want to come off. So we'll work on that. What am I doing? I am making a propane heater for the greenhouse. Hold on, let me get a different nozzle. I don't like this one. No reason to have you guys see me struggle with that one. So we're going to use basically a copper brazing or soldering kit. We're going to run that flame down a black iron pipe. So that's going to go into the greenhouse. It's going to make a 180-degree turn. It's going to come back out. We're going to use it as a radiant heater. So a way to add heat to the greenhouse without having to use electricity. So my problem is if I get a power outage, and we're in a time of the year where we get power outages, and yet it's, single digit temperatures, I don't want to lose everything in the greenhouse. So I want to have a way to supplement that heat and get that out. There we go. Little heat makes everything work. So yeah, it's a single burner propane heater for the greenhouse. Nobody makes one small enough for what I'm doing, so I'm kind of putting one together. What state do I live in? I live in North Idaho, so it gets a little chilly up here. The surrounding hills got snow last night, but our average temperatures, wintertime, we'll get single digits, maybe a week or two of single digits. We do get some negative temperatures too. That happens from time to time. This is not where I've lived my whole life. I used to be a nurseryman over in Oregon. Oregon is kind of the nursery and garden hub of the United States. A lot of stuff was made there, and that's where I grew up. So I moved to North Idaho to teach agriculture. So for many, many years, I was an agriculture teacher. And then this last spring, I parted ways with my school. And now I work at a local factory doing metalworking, because that's what I did for many, many years. And now I run a YouTube channel for my teaching and my training. I am a certified teacher. I've been that for many years. I was a certified agriculture teacher, so I taught shop, welding, but my specialty is definitely horticulture and plants. My family ran a 16,000 square foot nursery and greenhouse operation over in Oregon. They did that for a little 40 years, so that's where my experience there comes from. Oh, you live, okay. Pitch blackout. Yeah, it's sun's gonna set soon, probably before I get this done, but we do have grow lights going on in the greenhouse, so it will be a little bit lighter. It does get dark here early. It's just a little after 3 o'clock. When we reach the darkest point of the year, it'll be dark, or the sun will be setting at 3:45. So yeah, you gotta do a lot of stuff early on in the day. Okay, so it's kind of opposite of what I want. So let's see if we can tighten this a little bit more. Just going to use this to our advantage. Okay. I think I want it about like that. So I do want it to draft. So I'm going to put the flame in this direction and the exhaust out this direction. I want the exhaust to be further away from the door. I think I'm going to give it just a slight angle more. Okay, so it's going to look about like that. Right? You kind of see how that's at an angle. So we're going to put it in like that. That way, if we get any condensation, it runs out. And then with the heat of that tube, it'll help draft that air out. So we don't have to worry about, basically the flame struggling. I don't want the flame to struggle. So I'm going to go ahead and mock this up. And then we're going to put a gas cylinder on it. We're going to start it running, and then we'll start doing the other stuff indoors. Let's see if we can get this to stay about like that. Kind of tight on space here. That burner needs to go in there. So I think I'm going to use some wire and hold it in there. We'll hold it in temporarily. See if we can get that to work. There's my lineman pliers. So I'll probably shoot a more instructional video about this later on, but this is just kind of a live I know my lives have been kind of weak lately as far as viewership, so we're going to just try this to see if we can get some more people interested in the channel. Gardening in the middle of winter is a little bit tougher, and having a gardening channel in the middle of winter is really tough. So let's get this up here. Do I have plans for this? No, I'm flying by the seat of my pants. We'll get this going. We'll get this going. All right. So we just want it to kind of be in there on its own. All right, we're gonna have it like that, and we're gonna let this thing go ahead and heat up on its own. It's really kind of hacked together. I don't want that thing to flip. All right, that should help hold it in. Okay, so we'll go ahead and light this. Wasn't expecting the harmonic. My other one didn't do that. My other burner, but I can't find that one right now. Should change when this warms up. Well, that didn't stay lit. Okay, we're just going to set that temporarily. Try to get some of that heat moving through the pipe. Yeah, that's going to burn off some of that paint. All right, I'll bring in a little closer so you can see. So again, this is just going to be on there temporarily, but we definitely want a lot of that paint and oil to burn off before we install it, because it's not going to be good if that's in there making all that smell. So that might have to run for a little bit. Okay, I'm going to move you one more time. Okay, so this is the wall of the greenhouse that we're going to be working on. So we're gonna cut a hole through here, and we're gonna make a hole in our brand new greenhouse. So with this, we do need to put some boards to support it on the back side. And that'll be where we're going to put the sheet metal up against, and then that sheet metal will keep this plastic from melting. So I'm going to see if I can get you guys inside the greenhouse. I knocked over the torch. Let me set it back up. All right, there, fixed it. Hey, it's alive. I can't edit it out. All right, I'm just gonna let it hum away. It'll change as the pipe heats up, the pitch will change. So we'll work on that. All right, I'm gonna get a little shorter here. Okay, so this is the area that we're going to be working at. Get my electric heater out of the way. So this is, when you build things, you should probably take the opportunity and build them when it's not the season that you need it. But, I didn't plan ahead. So we're going to put our support boards right about here. And hopefully they're gonna work. So we're gonna put one right about there, and then we're gonna put one up above it. Just gonna use some little metal brackets to hold those in. So we're gonna put one top and bottom. Okay. Yeah, if I left that heater like that, I don't know if you guys can still hear it. I think that would be super annoying. So we won't be able to do that. You know what? I'm going to put these on here. It's not gonna work. Come on, figure it out. There we go. Nope. That's not gonna work. Oh well, we'll figure something out. Put that one there. Feels like I'm back in my classroom. People judging my work. There's one. We're gonna put this in temporarily so we know where we're going. Back it in there. Okay, now let's figure out if we can get this other bracket. Yeah, that one will do that. I've got a double board here, so that'll work for that one. I was just thinking too hard. Okay. All right, so there's one. I found these other brackets that I had. I was hoping I could use those. It's not quite what I'm looking for, but I think for what I'm doing, it's going to work. I just didn't want to have to go to the store to get something else. I mean, I already had them. Love your content, Firefly, especially Firefly experiments. Yeah, thank you. And I'm working on reaching out to Light Bio to see if I can get the new Firefly petunias. So they've teased about a Firefly petunia that is 6 times brighter, and I want to see if I can get my hands on that earlier this year. So where I'm at, they do their shipping according to your climate, and I don't want to get mine really late. Like these are next year's flowers. So this is my hanging basket flowers. This is Patea. And I've already got my starts going for next year for my baskets. So I want to get my fireflies as early as I can, which is why I'm working on the greenhouse and putting in a gas heater, because I don't want to lose everything in the middle of the night. You know, if I fall asleep and the power goes out at 2 a.m. in the morning and I don't realize it, stuff in here be frozen by morning, and I don't want that. So let's see if we can get this up in here. Of course, I think the short board's on the bottom. That's not going to work. And I don't want to go cut another one while I got you guys on the live. Okay, so we'll work around it. We'll work around it. I think that's what I'm going to get. I should have test fitted those. Anyway. Okay, so we're going to do that. We're going to put our sheet metal. We just won't worry about securing the top. It'll be okay. And I'm going to go through and do all the finish work later on, because it's going to take me a while to get this done. What I really mainly need to do is I needed to have an idea where this was going to go so that I could get my measurements for my sheet metal. So looking about 16 inches. So we're going to go out and we're going to hand cut some sheet metal next. I didn't talk about any safety equipment because I kind of assumed most people watching this are adults and you can choose your own safety equipment. But the one thing I will absolutely say for safety equipment is if you're going to cut sheet metal, especially the stuff we're going to use, you absolutely need to wear gloves. So we're going to go out and do that. And we'll see. I'm kind of getting annoyed by the heater. That constant hum is the heater. It's just forming a harmonic. And I'm sure I can adjust it by adjusting the airflow, you know, putting a little flapper over that. And as soon as I find my other torch head, the one that doesn't make that harmonic, we'll put that on there. So, okay, let's go back out in the greenhouse, or out of the greenhouse. I'm gonna set you back up. Yeah, wouldn't you love to be my neighbor if my greenhouse sounded like that all night long? So with this, it's only burned a little bit of that paint. So I'll probably go through and take this back out after we install it and hit it with an oxyacetylene torch. What was that? I forget how many degrees that is. It's like over 4,000 degrees, so it'll burn the paint right off. I just don't want to do that right now. This works. It does tell me I need my other burner, so we'll work on putting the other burner. And yeah, it's warm. It's warm. I can feel it through the leather gloves. So we're going to go ahead and set this off to the side. Hopefully all the bricks don't fall as I do that. Okay, that end was warm. Where can I put this? Put it behind you. Okay. Bricks out of the way. And we're going to do some sheet metal cutting. Normally with this, I would go to a metal supply shop to get this. I was planning on shooting a video a while ago. The sheet metal shop here sells them in 4-foot by 8-foot sections. I don't need that much sheet metal. So this is actually, unfortunately, it's from Home Depot. they are crazy expensive there. Yeah, I paid way too much for this. Yeah, buy them at a metal shop, pay a little bit extra for it. If I was still working at the high school, I would have bought it through the metal shop there and used all the equipment that I had available to do the cutting and trimming. But we don't have that because we're on our own now. So I'm gonna go take another quick measurement. So I know I want to go 16 inches this direction, but I need to know how far that direction I'm going to go. The other thing with this is we've done a really good job on our greenhouse insulating it to make sure that the walls are really insulated. But the problem with that is that where we're going to put metal, there's not going to be any insulation there. There's no insulative value to metal. So we're gonna make sure that we go get some foam insulation, or not foam, excuse me, fiberglass insulation. And we're gonna pack around that with fiberglass. Oh, there you are. Sorry, a little bit unstable on the internet. My son who does electronics, he's gonna, if you've ever seen those, I think I lost everybody. Well, y'all will come back eventually. But anyway, he's going to, I think it's a Peltier, something like that. But he's going to get one of those, and we're going to try to make one of those fans that's the Peltier. I think that's what I'm talking about. But anyway, one side's hot, one side's cold, and if you heat one side up, it makes the other side cold, but it produces electricity. So we're going to use one of those to run a small fan that'll actually run this heater. So the whole thing, it'll run a fan and it'll heat the greenhouse using nothing but the propane power. So that's our goal there. So I'm going to go ahead and take another measurement, and then we're going to come back and we're going to cut the sheet metal. Then we'll install the sheet metal, cut our section of plastic away, and hopefully work on that. So I'm going to see how much I can get done in this live stream. But yeah, it's the building of the heater. Yeah, sorry about that. I've got unstable internet here, so if it cuts out, I'll be back. I think we're going to do 18 inches. We're going to do 18 inches across. So 16 by 18 is what we're shooting for. What happened to your camera? You guys are all crooked. There you go. All right, so you get to see me do a little sheet metal work. We'll see how well it goes. The corner's bent. That's dirty. Hey, look at that. It's all clean again. Okay. Okay. So we're going to try to cut across there. Gosh, it's like I've been a sheet metal worker for years. I ended up exactly where I wanted to be. So that's our 16, and then I wanted to go 18 on this direction. missed it. All right, so that is our sheet metal. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and put that back up there. And what we're going to do is I'm going to cut out a section of this this plastic here to try to prepare for adding in the sheet metal. So we're going to go ahead and cut basically a cube in there, so I can see kind of where I need to be. But we need to make sure that we allot for enough space for this. So this is going to be going through the inside. And actually, we should probably put the holes in this. I think we should put the holes in this before we mount it in the greenhouse. So I know we want it like that. So let's come up here to this other one. Let's come back here. It's going to be a pretty tight fit. Yeah. That's interesting. That'll actually be really super handy. Okay, so I know exactly where my holes have to be now. And let me cut this. Where's my hole saw? I get my drill. Okay, so we've got our two marks here. We're going to go ahead and use this hole saw on that and put this all together. Now I'm going to do this on the ground. Get all this stuff, debris out of the way. So one of the things about drilling holes in sheet metal is you should always clamp it down. Always clamp your sheet metal down. Now we're outside, we're away from the workbench. So what we're going to do is we're going to do it a little bit different. We're going to stand on it, but you don't want any part of your body lined up with the outside of the sheet metal, because if it catches and spins, it'll slice you like a spinning rotating knife. So if we stand on it, it can't cut us because it'll be below us. I'm going to line it up to the center of where I want it. Chances are it's not going to be where I want it. Okay, we're going to stand on it. Ah, push too hard. Okay. There you go. I know that's not the proper way to do it. It's not the shop way to do it. It's the farmer way to do it. There we go. Perfect. So, let's see how well we did. Look at that. It fits. Cool. All right. Let's come back over to the greenhouse. Come back over here. Ooh, that is really close to my sidewalls. Good thing I didn't install that other one. Yeah, that's about where we're going to be. Yeah. Let me look at something on the inside. Maybe we'll temporarily use our other one. Stick this in here. Think about there. Yep. All right. Well, let's try it. So about here. And I think we're going to try to go this one here up to about there. So that'll help me mark where I'm going to go. Okay, there's that. Just trying to get an idea of where I should be. Somewhere about here. Okay, we're going to go ahead and cut that out. Try to remove that sheet metal without slicing our hands. So this corrugated plastic is really super easy to cut in one direction, which is down the corrugations. So it's easy to do that. Cutting across the corrugations is a little bit trickier, but we'll work on that. Okay, let's do this one. Hopefully we've got the right one on this one. I think I skipped over. Yep, I'm one over. That's okay. We'll go with it. Here. All right. This makes me nervous because we're putting a hole in the side of our greenhouse in cold weather. Where are we hooked up? Okay. There's that. Okay. So there's the side in our greenhouse. So this is where we're going to put our sheet metal. This is going to come right in here. We're going to do our best to make sure we've got that all secured. Okay, so it's going to go like that. And I'm going to put that insulation on the other side. Grab my drill. Okay. No good screw. All right. There we are temporarily. Okay. Now we can make other insulative things here to make sure that that's just not really messing with things. I'm gonna come on the inside, or go on the inside and try to put another board. I think I'm gonna grab one other little heater board. I think it was narrow enough to work. Use that one. See if that'll work as a backer board for right now. Just barely wide enough. Let's see. Yeah, I think it'll work. I think I'm going to hold it up there with the poly first. Or the Coro. Okay, one. There, let's try it this way. Okay, so there we go. There is our main plate there. Our burners are going to come out of here, and I'm going to go ahead and put those in. We're going to kind of test fit them. And yeah, it's cold, so it'll be all right to use. Get my last bit of tools in here, and I'll bring you in. All right, we're gonna make you a little bit shorter. All right, I see a comment. What am I doing? I am making a propane heater, single burner propane heater for the greenhouse. So this is kind of a long-term project. one that I've wanted to do for quite some time. Sorry about the shakiness, making you shorter. And I finally get the opportunity to do it today. It's Thanksgiving break, so what better time to get that done? All right. There, I think you can see. So we're going to work under the bench here. With this, we're going to make this go out just a little bit. So we're going to have it stick out just an inch or so. I'll probably end up putting fittings on there. So this is what it's going to be. Let's try, yeah, like that. Might have to adjust the burner just a little bit. So it's going to be like this. It'll be suspended underneath this bench. So we're going to suspend that with wires. So I'm going to work at right now. Okay. Let's mark those. Okay. Get one of them up there. We're going to do some fancier bracketry later. It's not working one-handed. Okay, there's one. There's two. One wire. Just two wires. All right. All right, there's that temporary connection so we can kind of see how that goes. I'm going to get some radiator strapping and hook it in better later. So burner's going to be on the side. It's going to blow our flame up here. This will be a radiant heat, and then through convection, it'll kick it out the other side. So I've done this test with a 5-foot piece of pipe and put it in an angle. It works just fine. We'll get the little Peltier device, we'll put it on here, and it'll be just like the wood stoves, but have a little fan that just spins on its own. And so this whole thing, it'll be run off of propane. So it'll provide its own electricity. The propane cylinder will provide the gas, but that's how that's going to look. The other thing I'm going to do is I'll probably take the rest of the sheet metal and run it underneath the bench here as a way to kind of get the heat to go out, so I don't get just air going straight up, burning our plants, because that's our big mother plant up there. The other things in here is we do have the 40-gallon water tank, and then we have behind me we have the water lilies underneath, and they're all acting as other heat sinks. So I think I'm going to wrap it up here. This has been been a pretty live long stream, and we're starting to get dark. So what I'll probably do is work a little bit more, and then you probably won't see me on Thanksgiving, but we'll do a couple more live streams during this break. I've got a bunch of days off in a row, so there's going to be plenty of time to get some of our other projects done. So I think that's what we'll work on. In the meantime, I've cut a giant hole in the side of my greenhouse, but it's okay. It's okay. That'll just keep it from melting. Yeah, so I think it's going to be all right. So yeah, that's the propane burner. We're gonna see how well this works. I'm hopeful, but if it doesn't work, I've got other sheets of that corrugated plastic, and I can cut a sheet that size and put it back, and we'll pretend that it never happened. But for right now, this is our experiment. So we've kind of stepped away from the plant experiments for a little bit, and we'll get back into those as spring gets nearer. But yes, we will be talking about all of other plants that are coming up. So this is that petunia I grabbed earlier. I've got some nice bacopa going already, but all of those plants, all of those will be ready for our hanging baskets. So we're going to do 4 really large hanging baskets. And that project, that's gonna cover a bunch of things. We're gonna get crafty with that too. So I did teach blacksmithing as a part of the shop classes that I held. So the hanging baskets, we're going to use a large nursery container, and then we're going to blacksmith the metal frame to hold that, and we're going to build the whole thing, and I'll do the whole thing either on lives or on videos, and we'll just kind of have fun with it, you know. Now that I'm not a teacher, it gives me a little bit more time to be creative. I'm not as mentally exhausted as I was. Sorry. Was mentally exhausted as a teacher. Now I'm just physically exhausted. You know, being older and going back to a blue collar job has been kind of hard. Sheet metal and factory work is a young man's job. You know, it's hard on the body, but that's all right. It's paying the bills. But yeah, we'll keep going. But I think I'm going to go ahead and wrap this one here. So between this live and the one we lost, I don't know what time it is, but I don't know, this one got interrupted, so maybe it's the same thing. So it's been about an hour, I guess. But we'll come back and we'll do this. But that's where we're at. So there's that view. We'll take you out. We'll give you the outside view. And yeah, when you see it again, we're going to have radiator strapping and all sorts of other stuff, making this look a lot better. There you go. We'll just put you down like that. So yeah, this is going to be the outside, and we'll put insulation around this, because even though it's a heater, and it's a big area relative to the size of the greenhouse as far as conduction of thermal energy back and forth. I know I need it as kind of a heat sink to draw the heat away from those pipes. But you know, at this point, I may cut some little holes and put this back for tonight, since I'm not going to run this heater. I don't think it's going to get as cold tonight, but yeah, I'll keep working on it. Not tomorrow on Turkey Day, but we'll work on it on another day. But this is our little propane heater for the greenhouse, and it's going to be powered by single burner, just regular propane torch. So there'll be a burner unit just sitting here, and it'll be attached with a flexible hose to one of the regular big propane tanks, not this size, but the great big ones. And that'll all be connected here, and that'll just heat on its own. So anyway, I think I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up. So as always, I hope you learned something. I hope you enjoyed. Ag Teacher Thoughts out. See you, everybody. Thanks for joining.